Hello friends, so today is our third day of this 10-day journey for CISM. So in this journey, today is our first day to understand about the task statement, which is given because in all the four domains of CISM, they have given some task statement, and on those task statement they have given a mapping of some knowledge statement. Yesterday, whatever concepts we have discussed, those concepts are related to information security governance. So all these concepts we are going to use to understand the task statement and how to execute those task statement. So it is very important for us to understand how to execute the task statement. So that is the main and overall goal of this particular course itself. So once you are able to understand what exactly those task statements are and how to execute those task statements, then automatically you are a certified information security manager, I can say, because ultimately in real life also we need to execute these task statement also. Okay, so that is the reason. So let's start our journey. Okay, so the very first task statement is establish and or maintain. Establish means if it is a new company, then you need to establish a information security strategy, or if there is a major change, then you need to revamp the information security strategy, or you need to maintain, which is already there, which is already a well settled information security strategy any particular organization is using. You need to maintain that particular information security strategy in alignment with the organizational goal. So there are already some organizational goal. Every organization have some goals. Yesterday also we discussed about this thing, and they have some set objective to reach those goals. For that only they create a strategy to reach those goals, to guide the establishment and or ongoing management of the information security program. It means we need to create an information security program. So yesterday we discussed what exactly a program is. We can say a program is a combination of all the document, policy, process, procedures, right? So whatever we have discussed yesterday, so combination of all these things is our information security program. So we need to understand that whenever we are going to make an information security strategy, that should be as per the organizational goal, and also ultimately whatever goals it is going to set. Okay, so the information security strategy should reach that, and ultimately it should help the information security program to in implementation of those sorry, goals, right? So we need to understand some of the concepts. So whenever you get any statement in the whole CISM, then try to get the words out of that. So here three words are important, three concepts I can say are important. These concepts are: first, information security strategy; second, organizational goals and objective, which you need to understand; and the third one is the information security program. So if you understand these three, then only you can say that yes, I can work on this particular statement. It is exactly same. Without knowing what exactly Excel is, you cannot work on Excel, right? If you know, yeah, Excel is this thing, then you can work on that Excel, and even you can just find out more about Excel, right? But knowing Excel is the very first basic step. So this is the very first basic step, that you should know the meaning of these terms. If you know what exactly these terms are, then only you can understand them in a better way. Okay, let's start with a story, with a scenario. As I already told you that this is majorly related to a scenario. I'm going to create a scenario now, and this particular scenario will cover each and everything. It means all the 9 tasks which are there in this particular domain. So let's start with the scenario. Okay, the story, maybe you will sometime you will feel that it is because this is first time you are going to see any task statement, and you are going to understand any particular task statement in detail. So maybe sometime it is very boring, but try to understand the terms in between that, then it will be very easy for you. Okay. Okay, so okay, moving to this one. In this information security strategy, goals and objective, and information security program. So strategy is a plan of action to achieve the goal, and goal we need to set. Okay, it means we means the governance board, they need to set some goals. So goal is a result we want they want to achieve. Okay, and they will check also whether we are towards that particular goal or not. And to achieve that particular goal, ultimately we need to have some controls in our hand. Those controls will be there in information security program. So these are the three words for your understanding. So if we start from the very beginning, the first thing in any particular environment which we need to understand is about the information security governance, because at the top we are having the information security governance. So it is an act of creating a plan on how a company will protect information and then making sure that everyone is executing and following that particular plan. That is information security governance at the top level. So the governance will set some goals and for information security and for other things also, and a strategy will be created to achieve that particular goal. I think till here you are clear enough. So but the important thing is we need to know, as a manager we need to know what exactly the goal are. Okay, it means what is our goal, what exactly we need to secure, because most of us most of you will think you will say that okay, goal is to secure the assets of the company. Yeah, I agree with you, the statement is absolutely correct, we need to secure the assets of the company. But do we know what exactly assets are there in that particular company? Do you know what is the criticality, what is the sensitivity level of those assets are? Knowing this is important. As a manager, we should know what are the total number of assets, whether the inventory is proper, not proper, what degree of precision they are using for making the whole inventory, right? All these things we need to understand. Being a manager, we need to understand all these things. And also by doing so, we can pinpoint that this is what I need to protect. Okay, but there are some challenges, there are some constraint in all this while we are doing this. So there is a saying also, if you don't know where we are going, then we cannot say how much time it will take to reach there, right? So same thing is here also in this security field also. If we don't know the goal, we cannot say how much time it will take, how much secure we will be. So we cannot define all these things, right? So without a security strategy, we have no hope of increasing security in any environment, right? So that's why first step, goal. Second step, okay, so I think there will be some background noise. Yeah, this location is nearby to a main road, so definitely there will be some background noise. I cannot work much on that, right? So okay, moving further. So first thing, information security governance. They will set some goals, right? To achieve those goals, we start making some strategies. But while making that particular strategy, we should know what exactly our goal is. Goal is to protect information, right? To provide information security. Information security is provided to the information and also to the assets within that particular organization. Now the thing is, we need to understand whether the inventory is proper or whether it is not proper. We need to define the criticality, the sensitivity level of those particular resources. That is the most important thing. If we are able to do that, then we can say yes, we can create some kind of security strategy to protect the overall information within that particular company. There are different methods of doing the same, like BIA, SWOT, all these are different methods, but I'm not talking about those methods because my aim is to create a framework which you can use to understand the statements. Okay, so this is why it is so crucial to state security goals in every business terms, right? So that the senior management, they can also link that, okay, for this particular goal or for this particular thing, this particular kind of security is needed. This is what our main aim should be. It means avoiding the bad thing, and the resulting ultimate result we will get is a positive thing only. It means whenever we are going to present in front of the senior management, we need to tell them, we need to create a business scenario, we need to tell them that this is the business scenario. In this business scenario, these kind of threats will be there, these kinds of security impacts will be there, this will be the exact impact, this will be the regulatory impact, this will be the financial impact. So if we are going to present the same in front of them like this, then it is very easy for us to get a approval for our strategy, whatever we have created, right? With this, we can also take some other approaches, which is giving a reference to a already incident, giving a reference to current scenarios, right? All these things are there. So The other approach which we can take is to enable activity that would otherwise be too risky, like work from home. Like in the current scenario, if we are going to say to the higher management 2 years back that we need to work from home, then they will say no, it is quite risky, so many risks will be there, it is very difficult for us for this. But if we create a security scenario that someday if something happen and no employee is able to come into the office, right, then what will happen? How we are able to execute whatever we want to do? Then our business will be impacted. In that particular case, they will create a strategy for work from home also. Whatever the financial impact of the same, we can create a scenario that those particular financial impact can be taken care of if these kind of scenario will happen, right? So that's how we are going to present the same thing in the in front of the top management. Okay, moving further. As a manager, you also need to know how to set the security goals in alignment with the business goals. Suppose your organization is dealing in supply chain, it is providing some things to different organization. It is a supply chain organization. It means in between the supply chain, now your security goals should be that whatever happened, whether it is a disaster, whether it is some incident, whether it is an attack on your infrastructure, the security chain should not break, right? The supply chain should not break. So the security here is mainly to make sure that the supply chain should not break. The application which is taking care of the supply chain should not break at any moment of the time. So that should be your security goal. So as a manager, you should know your security goal. In some organization, the goal is for confidentiality, right? The data is more confidential for us. It should not go out. At some place, it is availability more. Confidentiality is also there, but availability is also there. And third is integrity. So at some place, it is integrity is more required. So scenarios are different. You need to understand. Being a manager, you need to understand what exactly the requirement of the R is. Right? So we can say the business strategy not only lead to the business goal, but provide an input to the risk management, information security strategy block as well. So ultimately, we can take reference of the business strategy, and then while we are doing the risk management, then we can say, okay, supply chain management. For the supply chain, we are having these kind of risk. Then I can use the business strategy. My business strategy is to provide supply chain management, and from that we can say for supply chain management, these are the risks involved. So while I'm doing my risk management, the business strategy will help me out in that. Also, while I am doing my security strategy, information security strategy, I can take the reference of the business strategy that I need to secure the supply chain management here majorly. Okay. With this, the next step which you need to keep in your mind always is the current state. That this is my current state. I'm not having DDoS protection. I'm not having this. I'm not having this. That is the lower level. At the higher level, that I need to have this much of manpower with this much of skills, right? So you need to know your current state, and you need to know your future state up to what level you want to secure. Now, having a gap analysis of this, you will have a complete gap analysis, and now you can use some standards to fill that particular gap analysis, which we will see in the coming scenarios. So now you have the current state and the desired state, you have the business process and the business requirement, you have the risk assessment, okay, and now you have the business impact analysis, next thing which you need to do. That in such scenario, what exactly the impact of the business will be. And finally, you need to check for some regulatory requirements also, that if it is a supply chain management for hospital, okay, then what are the standard I need to follow. If it is supply chain management for some financial institution, then what exactly the regulatory compliance I need to do. So I need to check with all those things also. So these combination of these 5 things, the current state and the future state, business process and business requirement, risk assessment, BIA, it means business impact analysis, and regulatory requirements. The combination of 5 things is our input for our strategy. The information security strategy will be created with these 5 inputs. Okay, so with all this information only, we are able to create a good strategy. Okay, now next question in front of you is how to decide how much to invest, because okay, the strategy is ready now, but while creating the plan, the actual financials will come. okay, because I need to purchase a DDoS protection, I need to purchase a firewall, I need to purchase an IPS. So ultimately financials are involved there, and now it is you being a manager, you need to decide how much financial can be the company can do for that particular thing, because ultimately you need to raise the request that this is the financial we require. With the facts and figures only you will get easy approval. So if you put everything with facts and figure, then you can say okay, this is what is required. Then the management will do some cost constraints also. So depending on those, you need to change your strategy in future also. So but the first thing is, if you have 100 servers, okay, and you need to protect those 100 servers, so it is very difficult for you. With the cost constraint, it is very much difficult for you. So that's why the best strategy in such scenario is try to minimize. The concept of minimization is start assigning the criticality and the sensitivity level to different information, that this particular information is most important for me, it means it is most critical, this is having most sensitivity. So if you categorize the whole information and the systems which is having those information, or which is storing those information, or which are processing those information, if you categorize the whole systems like that, then you will find very few systems are there which are very critical and which require maximum security, right? In this way you can bring down the overall investment cost for your information implementation, for your information security plan. And when you are going to do like this, then it is very easy for you to put the same in front of the top management, that this is how we are going to apply everything in our scenario. Okay, so if you are able to do all these things properly, you will say that majority of the data is neither critical or sensitive, meaning we just have very few. Instead of a very huge data to protect, you have very few data to protect. It means you require very less finances now. So we can also say by attaching the value to the various assets. Okay, I'm saying value. So again two terms of values are there. One is this qualitative, other one is a quantitative. So we can assign both of them, whatever the strategy you are following in your organization, we can achieve the same by that. But once we have this value with us, then we can say out of this value we can decide that this is the actual assets we can protect on. So in some case there is very difficult to reach a particular value, so we at that moment of the time we will just give them a qualitative value, not a quantitative value. So, and there's one more approach. The other approach is to execute, it means just to make a separate group of critical business processes. Okay, like for a hospital, the critical business process is whenever any particular patient is coming to the hospital, he should get the first aid, he should get the necessary medical assistant, right? So that is our most critical business. Whenever any particular patient is coming, registration and everything of the same. The salary part of the employee and the calculation of other things is not that much important in that particular scenario. So we are, in case of any disaster, in case of any particular attack, we can say these are our most critical things. Okay, now here we are not attaching any value to the data or the information or the processing systems. We are checking with the criticality level. So we are saying that this is the most critical business process, and then these are the things which require maximum protection, and these are the things on which I can spend more. So in this way, these are the two approaches: either assign a business value or assign a monetary value. So if we assign in this way, then it will be very easier for us to categorize and finalize the budget for our plan. So whereas criticality is concerned with the impact if we lose control of information, sensitivity is concerned with the impact if we accidentally disclose that particular information. So we need to understand the difference between criticality and sensitivity. So criticality is more about the impact if we lose it, and sensitivity is more about the impact if we accidentally disclose it, right? So in both we need to understand the difference in between both. We need to understand for the CISM examination. So a strategy will give us the needed framework. Now a concept of framework is coming on which to create a roadmap. On that particular framework we can create a roadmap. Now our strategy is ready. Our business plan we need to create. Business plan means, sorry, here information security plan we need to create. To create that particular information security plan, we can use some framework which are already available, because either we need to reinvent the whole wheel again. We need to say, for physical control I want this, for technical control I want this, for this control, for everything I need to work on. So that is reinventing of the wheel again. If I do not want this particular, I can just take one standard, okay, standard framework, and then I will just work on the same, and then I will just implement the same. We can say a good security strategy will mitigate the risk while supporting the business goal, as well as showing us how well we will embed good security practices into every area of the business. But here the term good security practices is a very difficult term to understand. The reason for the same is, if we are not going to follow a particular framework, then everything we need to think from our own mind. The whole team, the whole departments need to sit together, and then they will say, okay, for this thing we can do this thing. But if we are going to use a framework, then it is very easy for you. Framework will be at different level, different frameworks can be there. We will discuss them also. Yesterday also we discussed about those framework, like ISO framework, COSO framework, COBIT framework. So all these are the frameworks. Some of them are the application layer, some of them are the contextual layer, some of them are at the enterprise layers. But we need to understand that if we are going to implement via a framework, it will be very easier for us to achieve a good security practice plan. So we can say, in a cost-effective security strategy, three things are important. These three things are, not three more are there, but three are the most important. First, business requirement we need to understand, which are defined for the information security, right? Goals have been defined. Second, information assets and resources have been identified, what we have discussed till now. Three modes are there which we have not discussed till now. It means value we also need to assign to each and everything. Information need to be classified both critical and sensitivity wise, and also all the asset should have any owner. If the assets are not having any owner, then we can say there is no criticality, there is no sensitivity, because no one is going to own that particular asset, right? So in this way we need to work. Now, to reduce the overall effort of the framework, we can use, for the control level we can use ISO, we can use NIST. For the control goals, to set the control objective, we can use COBIT, ITIL, ISO 27000, or we can use CMMI level also. For the governance level framework, we can use COSO, right? And COBIT also we can use at the governance level also. And then at the regulation levels, it means if that particular company or that particular your organization is dealing in a particular domain, then if it is financial domain, then we need to go for FISMA. If it is related, or GLBA, if it is related to health, we need to go for HIPAA. So all these are the regulations. So these are the, we can say, standard and framework available, which we can directly use, and we can customize them as per our need, as per the need. And as a information security manager, it is your responsibility to understand that these are the frameworks available. I can take one of these framework and then use it. Okay, yesterday I have shared one video with you, which is a guideline by NIST. That particular guideline is also a kind of a framework. For your information, I'm just telling you, the reason for the same is, if you are not able to understand what exactly a framework is, right? So a framework is which is providing you a complete knowledge. Within that particular complete knowledge, if you are pinpoint that these are the 4 things which I require, right? So you can just use that particular as a framework. So the last domain of CISM is about incident response only, incident management. So that particular framework which I have discussed yesterday is very important, which in the video which I have discussed, that is very important. So you can use that. It is a 7-8 minutes only, so just go through that 2-3 times. So whenever the last domain you are going to touch, you will feel the difference of your understanding in the same. For this particular domain also, I'm going to create some more videos related to these framework: ISO 27002, COBIT, ITIL, COSO, HIPAA. The reason for the same is, if you are able to know what exactly these frameworks are, then it is very easy for you to understand their implementation and their requirement. So with this, moving further, now you have everything in your mind. Okay, you have a from the governance level you have a goal. From the goal you got a strategy. From the strategy you have a action plan, we can say, right? Information security plan. So but here a gap analysis is more recognized. when and wherever we are. It means if we do a proper gap analysis, that today I'm here, tomorrow I want to go till here, this is the gap between today and tomorrow. So to create any action plan, to create any information security plan, this is what are required: a gap analysis, a business impact analysis. So this is, all these things are required, and this need to be performed for each control goal, right? Control goal, what is from the ISO we have taken, from CMMI what we have taken. So we need to do this gap analysis for each and every control level, for each risk, and for each impact on the goal. Three things are there which we need to understand: control goal, okay, gap analysis of the control goal we need to do, gap analysis of the risk management we need to do, and gap analysis of the impact on the goal we need to do. A typical approach is to work backward. It means first we will start with the desired state, that this is my desired state, and then I will go back. But from where exactly you will get this desired state? Okay, the information security governance team, they will say this is our goal, but from where exactly that goal you can get that particular parameter of that particular goal? From the CMMI. In CMMI, if you check that CMI, yesterday I have shown it to you, that in that you have different stages, right? So if your goal provided by the top management, that they want to provide this kind of security, just map those goals with the given in the CMMI. And if you just verify the current state, it means you can say that currently my organization is doing this, so it is at the CMMI level 1 or 2, and the goal is to go it to 4. So you have a gap analysis now with you, okay? But that gap analysis is only at the process level, that is not at the control level. So control level also you need to do a gap analysis in the same way. Sorry. So finally, when you came to this plan, in the plan you require what? You require a policy document, you require a standard document, and you require a procedure document or guidelines document. So you require some background to create all this. So after performing a gap analysis, we now need to create an action plan to execute the strategy. One of the most important aspect of any action plan is to create or modify any particular policy and standard. That's what is required now. So you just need to, okay, just one more second, I just want to show you something, but I think okay, so that's what our action plan and goal plan is. So again, I'm taking you to the statement now. We have done something till now. We have understand a whole scenario. We have created a whole scenario. I have gone through the whole scenario one by one. Let's map the knowledge statement with that particular scenario, with this particular statement. So this statement says that establish and maintain. Again, word by word I'm going so that it will be easier for you. Establish and maintain an information security strategy in alignment with organizational goal and objective. We already discussed about the organizational goal, the business goals of raised by any particular organization, how to do the gap analysis in the same, and how to create any particular strategy for those particular, and what are the parameters associated with that particular strategy. 5 parameters which we have discussed now. So these are the things for that. And then finally, now we are at the stage of creating a information security program. So when we are talking about our information security program, it requires a gap analysis. Just now we have discussed. So in the gap analysis, after that we need to create a policy document. So once we have the policy document, we need to create a standard which will, whatever is given in the policy statement, that particular standard will try to implement that particular standard will set the parameters, and the procedure document will try to achieve those parameters set in the standard. So we can say that about any particular specific governance goal, when we are creating a standard, the standard should interpret the policy, whatever it is saying, the policy. It should provide, the standard should provide a way to measure the policy compliance. It means it should say that if the policy is saying that we should have a 99.99% uptime, then we are able to measure the same. Also, this standard is very good for audit. If any particular internal audit or external audit we want, then using this particular standard which we set in our organization, then it will be easy for us to do the audits, because in the standard we will say we want to achieve this. In the audit we will check whether we have achieved the same, not achieving the same, but whatever is written in the standard, are we following the same or not following the same. So we can say a standard will set a bound for the procedure and for the practices, that from here till here it will go. So that is what is required here. Then comes the it will also help to set the baseline, and it will reflect the acceptable risk and control goals. Also, the standard will provide the criteria for evaluating any risk that is acceptable. Also, it will provide a boundary. So remember, whenever we encounter a standard for which there is no readily available technology, or there is some other reason for which we cannot create a process to meet that particular standard, then at that moment of the time we need to create some exceptional process. That is what is required to understand. So in standard, if says that this is going to happen, but if we are not able to implement the same, or if we are not able to achieve the same, then we need to have an exception process for that particular thing. So ultimately there are some multiple governance level frameworks available which will help us to create these standards. And as I discussed with you that at the process level, at different levels, yesterday we discussed about COVID, COSO. So those are the standards which will help us to create all these standards. Okay, right? So we can say, let's map these statements now one by one. The first thing, to establish this information security to establish or maintain this information security strategy in alignment with the organizational goal and objective, to guide the establishment and or ongoing management of the information security program. So now you understand what exactly program is, what exactly strategy is, what exactly goals and objective are. Now the first knowledge statement here says knowledge of the techniques used to develop an information security strategy. Just now also we discussed some strategy, two strategy we discussed, right? Giving a value, assigning a value to everything, and the second value is defining the criticality. SWOT is also one of the strategy. In SWOT there are four quadrant techniques we call it also: strength, weaknesses, opportunity and threats, and accordingly we will keep each and everything in those. So I am going to take these strategies separately because my main aim here is to tell you that these are the task statement, and these task statement can be achieved via doing the same, by doing this, right? So by doing gap analysis, by threat research. So these are the things which we discussed just now, also doing the BIA, business impact analysis, doing a gap analysis. Okay, so knowledge of the relationship of the information security to business goals. So information security always support the business goal, what we have discussed just now also. It should support the business objective, it should support the business function, also it should support the processes and practices of the business. We have taken a supply chain example also. So second statement is that whenever there is any business process, objective, goal, process or practice related to business, our information security should support the same. If in any case the information security is against that particular goal or practice, then ultimately we are going to lose our business value. And if we are going to lose our business value, then there's no security. Ultimately, if we are going to close the business, then where exactly we are going to implement that particular security. So we need to understand all these things, because in exam also you will get the questions in this way only, that this is going to happen, then ultimately they are going to close the business, then what exactly the impact of the overall thing is. Ultimate aim is you need to understand that the business goals, functions and everything should be taken care by the this. One second please, I need to do one setting. Okay, right, I'm done with this. Okay, so the third statement is knowledge of globally recognized standard, framework and industry best practices. Okay, for the standard, I want to say HIPAA, SOX, then FISMA, framework like COBIT, COSO. We discussed these yesterday, TOGAF. So these are the frameworks which we need to understand. Industry best practices, you can get it from CIS and also from NIST. So yesterday, which I have shared it with you, that is an industry best practice for incident management only. So the next is the Knowledge of strategic budgetary planning and reporting methods. I already told you in this story itself, whenever you are doing to do a budgetary planning, then in that particular case you need to think what exactly I need to secure, what is the asset value I can give it to them. Asset value can be of two types, qualitative and quantitative. Okay, and with this, how to report the same. When you are going in front of the management, you should go with our scenarios, we should go with our business impact analysis, you should go with some facts and figures, you should go with this TCO, right? That is how much we are going to invest and what exactly will be the return. And you should go with the return on investment also, ROI. So these are the things which will help you in the budget planning and reporting methods. So the next statement is knowledge of the internal and external influence on the organization. Yesterday we discussed about stakeholders, right? Stakeholders, some of the stakeholders which are within that particular company and some of the stakeholders which are from outside parties. In the same way, there are some influences within the company and there are some influences outside of the company. Within the company means the employee, the culture, right? The technology within that particular company, right? So all these are the internal influences. External influences are the environmental condition, those are the external influences. The political condition of that particular place, that is the external influence. The bank, or we can say the financial condition or economical condition of the country or the whole world, all these are the external influences. And even the emerging technologies, new social media, business environment, risk tolerance, so all these are the influences which we need to know what exactly these are and how to deal with those and how they impact the information security strategy. So whenever there is an information security strategy, in information security strategy there are three things. We need to understand the business goal, and our information security strategy should support the business goal. Now whatever the impact are there, if it is a positive impact, then accordingly we can bring down the cost. If it is a negative impact, then we will use some more controls, some more processes, so ultimately it is going to increase the cost. So knowledge of key information, like in the current scenario also, so many companies, they started working from home. So while they started working from home, they need to have a VPN channel creation, they need to tell their employee how to use that particular VPN channel. They also need to give some extra I can say facility to the employee, so that like a token system, like a mobile, so that they are able to communicate to the organization. So all these are the external influences which impacted the overall business of the whole company. Now the last statement is knowledge of the key information needed to obtain commitment from senior leadership. I already told you how to get the commitment from the top leadership, by giving reference to a scenario that this same thing happened with so and so company. So and so company has not implemented this scenario. Because of the same, they go into this it means they need to pay this much of the fine, right? So these are the business scenario, which it means business case you need to create to get the approval. Also you need to take the references and you need to give them proper justification or with the monetary values also. So from commitment from senior leadership and support from other stakeholder. Now I think when you're talking about this statement, it means now as a manager you need to create an information security strategy, right? And what exactly you require? First you will tell me what exactly you will require. You will tell me that you require the goal. Okay, with the goal only you can create a strategy. The second thing which you require is these things, like the external factors which are going to impact the standard, the framework, the industry best practices, the process which the company is using. All these are the knowledge statement. So I think you are able to understand this particular task statement. So this is how we are going to take each and every task statement. I have done one more thing. I have created some notes. Those notes are having task statement, knowledge statement, and with each knowledge statement, the process of doing those things, like SWOT. SWOT is a technique. That particular technique, what exactly that particular technique means, but exactly how exactly anyone can do that particular technique, how exactly the impact of that particular technique will be. So if you study in this way, then it will be very easy for you, very easy to understand the whole concept, because in the book you will find that everything is going round and round. So but if you go like this, take a task statement, understand the knowledge statement, and then study, then it will be very easy for you. So I have created these notes. Also, in the notes I have given a task statement, the knowledge statement, whatever is given in those knowledge statement, detailing of the same, detailing as per the scenario, and then giving the final scenario of those task statement. Finally, I have given the questions. I have related all the questions to that. So that's what I have created. Okay, moving to the next task statement. Okay, the second task statement is establish and maintain an information security governance framework to guide activities that support the information security strategy. Okay, now we already discussed about this thing also. In the story, we initially said in the very starting we start with the governance only. They will set the plan, they will set everything, how exactly we are going to work. That's how the information security governance will work, right? So but here we need to use a information security governance framework like the COSO, so we can use those frameworks here, and by these framework they will give us the complete idea how exactly different techniques we can use, because everything is already given there. We just need to say that these are which we can implement in our network and these we cannot implement. It means we can tweak that particular framework and use the same in our own environment. That's the concept of not reinventing the wheel again. So if you see the knowledge statement are related to this sorry. So yesterday also we have gone through some of the frameworks. You can check the yesterday slides. From there also you will, and I have uploaded updated slides on the Google Classroom also. So knowledge of available information security governance framework. Yes, we discussed COBIT, COSO, all those. Then knowledge of globally recognized standard. Yes, ISO 27001 we've discussed. Then NIST we've discussed. Framework and industry best practices. NIST best practices, CIS best practices we have discussed. Then knowledge of the fundamental concept of governance. We already discussed that the governance is creating a plan for the overall organization and checking whether whatever goal we have set, whether everyone is moving towards that particular goal or not, right? And knowledge of method to assess, plan, design and implement an information security governance framework. So for the assessment purpose, I just want to say KPI, KRIs, key risk indicator, key performance indicators. These are the terms which we need to understand. Okay, and for the planning phase we need to understand the 5 things which I told you in the beginning of this video, that these are the 5 things. For to create any particular governance plan, strategy plan, we need to require those 5 things. So in this way we can say that the statement 2 also we are able to complete. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the chat if you have any doubts related to the same. I think you are able to any one of you can give me some reply on the chat. Are you able to understand what exactly these statements are now after going through the whole story? Any one of you, please. Okay, I'm not getting any response, but whenever you get time, just write it me down, or I will change my strategy to teach, because I have taken some scenarios, I have taken a complete story from the starting till the end. So just let me know. So the third statement is integrate information security governance into corporate governance. So there's a different thing. One is the overall enterprise level governance, and within that particular we have a separate information security governance. So that particular information security governance, some part of the same will try to cover the IT governance, and other part will also overlap with the IT governance, but it is overall information security governance, because every information cannot be inside the IT systems only, right? So there is a overlapping of the same. Yesterday we have seen that particular overlapping also. So the third statement says integrate information security governance into corporate governance to ensure the organizational goal and objective are supported by the information security program. So we have already seen that thing also, that whenever any particular information security program will support any particular information security goal, when the strategy was created in such a way with those 5 components, okay, and then only those governance goals which they will set that can be achieved. Okay, so here we need to know about the knowledge statement says the relationship of the information security to business goal, objective, functions, processes and practices. Knowledge of, like we have taken the example of a supply chain here. Then the knowledge of available information security governance framework. Okay, we already taken the example of COSO, COBIT, all these. My advice to you is you need to understand these standards. Okay, yesterday also I have given you, so what I was doing in parallel, I am creating some standard video every day, 1 or 2 standard video a day. It is a very short video which is very useful for you to understand about that particular standard. So if you go in depth in any standard, then it will take more time. But if you have any idea of that particular standard, that is more than enough to understand the overall CISM. So in parallel, start studying the standard also. NIST I'm already started, so you will get some video today also. So over a period of time, I can say over a period of 10 to 15 days, if you are able to cover 10-15 standard only, if you know this standard is for this particular purpose, this standard can be used here, that is more than enough what is required for this particular exam and even for your working. So because whenever you need to work on any particular standard, then only go in depth in that. Okay, so the third statement also asks you to have the knowledge about the information security governance framework and knowledge of globally recognized standard framework, which we have already discussed. Then the fundamental concept of governance and how to relate the same with information security. Then the knowledge, the knowledge of the method to assess, plan, design and implement a information security governance framework. So with this I can say yes, we are able to understand this also. Now I want to say one more thing to you. All the task statement, I think you have the slide. I am uploading this particular slide there on the Google Classroom, and I am giving you a worksheet that this is the task statement. It will be there in that particular worksheet, and these are the knowledge statement. With those knowledge statement, what is your understanding? If you have any confusion in any of those knowledge statement, then just let me know. I will give you the reference of the particular document which you need to understand for that particular knowledge, and even I will take some scenarios. If you want some more scenarios related to any of these, just go through with each and every task statement which is given. 9 task statements are given in this domain. So I want you to go through each and every task statement and try to correlate what we have gone through today, the whole story which I have started in the beginning. Just go through that story 1 or 2 times and then keeps on checking the task statement. Have we missed something? No, we have not. We have completed the whole framework of all these 9 statements. Yes, the missing thing is the implementation of this particular framework. The implementation here means the sweat, like or any other technique like BIA, how to do BIA, how to do a business impact analysis. So that is a separate thing overall, that is not related to this framework. My role here is to make you understand this framework. If you are able to understand this framework, then it is very easy for you, right? And in parallel, I'm giving you the, yesterday I have given you this video for incident response. So these kind of video, I keeps on giving you the links of these kind of video. So in parallel, you are having an understanding of the overall framework of the whole CISM, and at the other moment of the time, you are building the knowledge for each and every knowledge statement. I cannot combine these together in a single platform, because if I'm going to do the same, it will create a confusion overall. So again, tomorrow also I'm going to take the domain 2. In that particular domain 2, that is related to the risk management. So my main role is to make you understand about each and every term which is related to risk management. Then the very next day, I'm going to create a scenario, same way as I have created today. I'm going to tell you a whole story from the beginning till the end. If you are able to grasp the whole story, I just want to say you are able to answer all the questions in the exam, because most of the questions can be categorized into 4 categories depending on the concept, depending on the where to use that particular concept, when to use that particular concept, and how to use that particular concept, and the impact of using that particular concept, and finally what exactly the steps of implementing that particular concept is. So I have created notes in the same way so that it will be easier for you. For every task statement, these are the knowledge statement. For knowledge statement, these are the concept, how to use those concepts and everything. And then finally, this questions, scenario based questions related to the CISM exam. So, but all these things are of $31, which you can purchase. I think I have given the link of the same in this. If I have not, I will just provide the link of the same. So, but to have a normal understanding of the overall CISM, because once you have this understanding and now try to open the book and go through the book, it will make sense. Whatever is written in the book, it will make sense. You are able to understand their wording now. You are able to understand their approach now. You are able to understand what exactly they want to create. So that is my role here, to make you understand that this is what they want. In parallel, I'm giving you other things also. So my request to you, just go through each and every statement. If you have any doubt in any of these statements, just let me know. I will create a separate video for that particular statement itself, and then I will send it, put you on the group. So any doubts for today? So it is your homework now to do all these 9 statements, to go through these all 9 statements. There is the option of giving your feedback or your query on the Google Classroom also. You can give it there also, or you can separately write down a mail to me. That is other option. Okay, with this I want to say thank you for watching, and tomorrow I am going to take the risk management. That is more practical. This is more theoretical. That is more practical, I can say. So we will see some of the techniques there of risk management and some of the concept of risk management tomorrow, and then we will move further, right? Okay, then thank you very much.